Apple's still being innovative for being the first company. I'm not mad, I promise. I'm just getting really into it. Yo, what is up, my Apple World family, and welcome back to your favorite daily Apple videos. If you are new around here, if you have never seen my face, and if you love Apple, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because if you love Apple, you're probably going to really enjoy my content. So the question is Apple still innovating after the death of Steve Jobs? Well, before we actually go ahead and answer that question, hey Siri, what does innovate mean?
Innovate means make changes in something established, especially by introducing new methods, ideas, or products.
So let's go ahead and start giving some criticism to Apple. I'm going to go ahead and defend Apple at later on the video, but let's go ahead and start saying some things that just Steve Jobs just wouldn't be proud of. The HomePod, for example. I am a big fan of the HomePod. I'm not saying that the HomePod is a bad product. I just don't believe the HomePod would be a product that Steve would be proud of. Now, why? Why am I saying this if I love the HomePod so much? I love it. Once again, I love it. It sounds great. It controls all of my HomeKit devices. The HomePod is not a product that is revolutionary. The HomePod didn't set a beginning and an end to Apple's history, like they did with the iPhone, like they did with the iPad and the Mac, and on iTunes. That's the stuff that Steve Jobs made. I don't think Steve Jobs would have been proud of the HomePod. Now, let me go ahead and give my reasoning. Basically, what does the HomePod do differently than others' competitors? Nothing. The Google Home and Amazon Alexa does the exact same thing as the HomePod, except the HomePod sounds much better. I mean, the HomePod sounds incredible. But they technically do the same thing. And Steve Jobs always did something differently. Steve Jobs always thought differently. Steve Jobs would have made the HomePod different than those competitors. In my opinion, I feel like Apple right now is more focused on selling rather than reinventing. Now, I know that's some strong words. I'll say it once again. I feel like Apple is more interested in selling and being up to date with all its customers and making all of their customers happy, except than actually reinventing. Now, this is just my opinion. Let me know in the comments if you guys are actually agreeing with me. Because the HomePod, for example, I felt like Apple was actually pressured in order to release the HomePod, because of course Apple didn't have a smart speaker. So since all the other companies were having smart speakers, Apple technically had to have one. So that's why Apple released the HomePod. I mean, Apple said that they were working on the HomePod for over some years now. But that's just kind of what I'm saying. The HomePod is not revolutionary. Is Apple reinventing? Is Apple still innovating with the HomePod? Not with the HomePod. But of course, I'm going to go ahead and defend Apple, as I was saying. But it's just the HomePod, for example, was a great example on how sometimes Apple is just not innovating. And also, the Magic Mouse. Things like this, Steve Jobs wouldn't be proud of. Of course, you're using, as I was saying in the beginning of the video as well, Apple is also really interested in design rather than actual functionality. Whenever you're using the mouse, and of course you guys probably know this, but for those of you who actually don't know, whenever you're using your mouse and the battery runs out, you have to charge it via lightning. That means you can't actually use it because you have to have it plugged in. Before, you had batteries and you could just plug them in and you could just keep on doing it. So that kind of stuff, I don't feel like Steve Jobs would actually be proud of. Other than that, I feel like Apple is doing a great job actually reinventing. Now let's go ahead and actually defend Apple, and let me show you how Apple is actually being innovative. For the people that say no, Apple is not being innovative at all, what do you call the AirPods then? Pure wireless headphones. No other company thought of that. Pure. I mean, you literally don't even have to connect the AirPods. The AirPods connect on its own. Apple changed the way on how you think on how wireless headphones work. Before, with wireless headphones, you had to go on settings and you didn't really know if they were connected because maybe they were connected with your Mac. With the AirPods, you simply plug them in and they simply work. You can go to work, you can go to the gym. They simply work and you don't even have to worry about connecting them because you simply open up your box, put them in, and they simply work. And if Apple's not being innovative, what do you call the Apple Watch? The world's most sold watch of the year. Apple has sold more Apple Watch than Rolex. I'll just say that. I mean, the Apple Watch is so innovative. I mean, you've got all of your notifications, all of your health data. The Apple Watch can literally save your life. Just for that, Apple, how they focus so much on health and how Apple can improve your life and your health. That's revolutionary. I mean, just the fact that the Apple Watch can tell you that you're about to get a heart attack, for example, That's revolutionary. That's being innovative. And the iPhone, for people saying that Apple isn't adding new features, new revolutionary features to the iPhone, just look within the last 3 to 4 years. Look how far and look how different the iPhone has changed within the last 4 to 3 years. A lot has changed. Of course, people only compare the iPhones to its last model. The iPhone 7 doesn't change anything with the iPhone 8, or the iPhone 10 doesn't have a revolutionary feature. If you actually look back within all the years, Apple has changed so much. I mean, just look at the camera. We can literally take beautiful portraits. I mean, just look at this photo, for example. That is taken on an iPhone. If we were to show this photo back to 20 years ago, if we were to show it to a man and ask him, hey, what camera was this taken on? He'd probably show us a camera that was this big. And we'd show him this, that photo was taken on this. That's just revolutionary. And I'm not just talking about Apple right now. I actually want to defend all of mobile tech companies right now. Every company that makes phones. The photos that we can actually take on our phones, it's just great. But anyways, I'm talking way too much. I'm generalizing all the companies so much. So let's go ahead and go back to topic to Apple. Let's talk about wireless charging for a second, because Apple was getting so much hate on how they weren't implementing wireless charging to the iPhone, and Apple just released it with the iPhone 8, 8 Plus, and the iPhone 10. Samsung had it way before Apple. I understand, and I know. But Apple just did it differently with AirPower. That is revolutionary. It's not, Apple doesn't just implement new features because the other companies tell them to, except the HomePod, but just forget that I said about the HomePod. AirPower totally changes the game for wireless charging. Of course, before it was just wireless charging, you could charge your phone. That's cool. But Apple just changes the game with AirPower, which, by the way, yes, Apple hasn't released it yet. I'm still waiting, I know. But Apple lets us charge now all of our devices whenever we go on a trip. We don't have to bring our Apple Watch charger, an extra lightning cable for our AirPods and our iPhone. We literally just have to take one thing, one device that will charge all of our devices. Now, the headphone jack is also a great example on how Apple is actually being innovative, because whether you like using the headphone jack or whether you don't really care if it's gone, just Apple's thought on removing the headphone jack, on being the first company to remove the headphone jack, for being the first company to actually have the courage to remove the headphone jack, that is being innovative. Whether you like it or not, whether you like using the headphone jack, yes, Apple's still being innovative for being the first company. I'm not mad, I promise. I'm just getting really into it. Being the first company to actually remove the headphone jack is innovative, because Apple wants a wireless world. You want a wireless world. And in order for us to have a wireless world, we have to remove the headphone jack, whether you like it or not. So hopefully you understood all of my points of view in this video. Let me know in the comments down below. What do you guys think? Is Apple still being innovative? Yes? No? Maybe? Sometimes? Let me know. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Don't forget to do all of that stuff right there, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Peace.